Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hopefully the rain isn't too bad in the background. It is raining outside. And since I have a metal shop, it does tend to resonate in here. But today I'm going to start on the rear disc. I went ahead and got the front finished up yesterday. And figure we'll go ahead and tear into the rear and see how far we can get tonight. At least we can get one side done. I've already got one side pulled off the Integra. But since it's raining, I'm not going back outside. The Integra's still sitting outside in the rain, so I'm not going back out there in the rain tonight to pull the other side off. It's just not happening. So I guess without further ado, let's get to tearing this thing apart. Alright, so here in the car, we got to take out the emergency brake cables because the emergency brake cables are different for the rear disc and the rear drum. So this one is a little different because it has the optional console here in the center. But basically, it has two bolts under here, and then it has two little Phillips head screws that go in back here, one on each side. But once you get those out, then just put the parking brake down. We gotta take out these two 12mm bolts right here. There's one right there and one right there, right? So we take those two out, and then we can take the cables out. So I got both those bolts out, then this little bracket here should slide forward. Anyways, we got to get these cables out of here. So basically you have to turn it to where the cable can come through the slot, and then you can get it out. Kind of like this. See how the cable is coming through it right here? And you just push the little piece out from the bottom. So they just lock into that. But now that piece will come out. Alright. So now their cables are loose, so we can go back to the bottom of the car. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and remove the wheel with our key. Alright, so if we're just replacing the rear disc, there'd be a 14mm bolt here, which you can see the head of that one's broke off. So we would take out this 14mm, this 14mm, and there's two 17s right here that holds this trailing arm bushing. And then on this toe link, I don't ever take this one out because that one's the one that actually messes with the alignment. I usually just let the arm come down and then I take out the 14 that's here. But with the exception of that, we also have to take out the emergency brake cable. So it's got a 12mm right here on this bracket that holds this cable, and it's got another 12mm right here. All right, and if yours has the exhaust shields covering where the cable goes into the cabin, you have to take that off. This one doesn't have it, so we don't have to worry about it. Yeah, and then on the passenger side one, since we're not going to be actually filming that side, it's kind of the same deal with the cables. Got a 12mm here holding the cable over there, and the bracket right here, it also has a 12mm on it, and then those go over to that side. Yeah, so it's just this 14, the 14 up front on the toe link, the two 17s on the trailing arm bushing, and then the 14 here. And of course the rubber line is also different, so we have to use the Integra rubber line. So again, just like we did on the front, we just take this nut off here and a little keeper. So also while I'm here though, I'm going to be putting on a coilover and a camber arm. So I'm going to be taking this one off. So it's not that really big a deal since this one's broken. So I'm going to be taking them off here and just putting a whole new unit on here that's adjustable. So the top of this has two 14mm nuts that are accessible from inside the hatch, and I'll show you. I'll go back, put the camera up there whenever I get to that. But yeah, time lapse, here we go. All right, so I'm running into a few issues on this. Like this bushing here, the bolt was stuck in the bushing. so I can't really get the bolt out without destroying the bushing. So what I'm going to do is just put this whole spring assembly on the Integra, and then the Integra I hadn't really ran into any issues on it where stuff is seized. So if you're pulling the rear disc off of Integra in the junkyard, it may be beneficial to you, if you don't have aftermarket lower control arms, to go ahead and snag the control arms too, if the bolt's not frozen in the bushing. So in removing the top nuts, it's the 14s on each side. Don't mess with the one in the middle because it is under pressure. So just this one and this one over here, right here. All right, so there's these two, and the shock will come out. Putting the coilover in. All right, so the rain's picked up a little bit, but what I can do. So I got the coilover in here and got the Integra lower control arm. So it should go right on there, no problem. And then I'll get the camber arm installed and then get the knuckle set up here and start getting it bolted in. I did put anti-seize on the bolts as I'm putting them back in, just so that we don't have to run into an issue in the future with the bolt seizing into the bushings and that kind of stuff. So we'll go back to the time lapse and get this knocked out. Now I've got the coilover installed, camber kit installed. The brake line is up here. This is the Integra rubber line. As you can see where that nut came off that. So I'm gonna make a new piece and put a union in it and be good to go. I got our 17 millimeter bolts tight here, and then I started the 14 before I put it up in there, right? Because if you don't do that, you're not gonna be able to get to it. And then once I got it, up where it needed to be, then I've just finished tightening it up with a wrench. And then I've had to put a nut on the back side of the coilover here because it didn't have the pre-made nut on it like the factory shop. But I guess since I'm putting the Integra lower control arms on it, I might as well go ahead and put the Integra rear sway bar on it. So I guess I'll be doing that too. But yeah, this is kind of where I'm at right now. I'm about to throw this wheel back on there and see what it looks like. Tweed actually don't look too bad. It could probably go a little bit lower, but the car has a nice stance right there where it's at. You can see how the front is now that I raised the front up a little bit. So see, it's got a little bit of a gap. I want to retain drivability, to make it where it's not difficult to get in and out of places. Obviously, I could get a thinner profile tire and lower it down a good bit more and roll the fenders and all that stuff. But without doing a bunch of extra work, this is a pretty good stance for it right here. So now I just got to wrap up the passenger side of the rear, and it'll pretty much be done. I will go ahead and do that rear sway bar tomorrow. But like I had mentioned earlier, it is raining, so I don't want to get out in the rain too much. It's getting close to being done. I did put the car in gear on the lift earlier and run through the gears, and the second gear seems to be grinding, so I'm gonna address that, I guess. I gotta pull the, I bought this GSR swap, kind of unknown. Had a bad clutch, so I couldn't really test anything with the transmission. So now it has a good clutch, and second gear's grinding pretty hard. So, and that's with no load on it, just on the lift trying to go through the gears. So I don't want to sell it like that, so gotta fix it, you know what I mean? I got like 2 more transmissions here I gotta fix too, so just gonna be a transmission mayhem over here.
Well, howdy, fellers. Mr. McClutch, I'm coming back over here, and Mr. Babb said he needs some help, so I come over here to help him, and I'm gonna finish up taking off the sway bar and the other lower control arm and the other brake on the Integra over here, and get installed on the Civic for him. So let's get to it. Alright, so to get the sway bar off the back, we gotta take these here two 12mm bolts out right here on this side, and the same thing on that side over there, and then we can get it all bolted into the Civic. We gotta also bolt all this stuff over here and get it on the Civic. Alright, so I went ahead and got the sway bar off the Integra, and I went ahead and took off this over here, the drum. And so here's the bolts that was on the sway bar before, and you can see it's got the holes here, but it ain't got no nuts on the back of them. So what we gotta do is we gotta go up in here, and we just put a 12mm nut on the back of it, and it'll hold it on there. You can see how it comes through there right there. So we got that one, and then the one that's right there. And you can see how it comes through right up there. Yep. So yeah, that's what we gotta do, and so I'm gonna go ahead and put the sway bar on here for Mr. Bab, and then I'm gonna put this rear disc on for him. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this here on for Mr. Bab. So yeah, it just kind of goes up here about like that, and then like I said a minute ago, you can take these. Oh yeah. All right, so gotta make sure that you got the right angle of the dangle to get around the exhaust, because the exhaust wants to get in the way. So put our bolt in it right up here, and then I'm just gonna reach up in this here hole and put a nut on it. I got some 12mm nuts over here, and then we'll be good to go. Alright, I got that one started, and let's get this other one. Oh yeah, it's a pretty simple little upgrade right here. You can put that front Integra sway bar on here too. You just have to change the front low control arms. I might see if I can talk Mr. Bab and do that. He got to pull the transmission out, because the transmission is grinding second gear. I guess that means that need to fix second gear. Anyhow, that's here nor there. You get all that stuff fixed up from Mr. Hutchinson. All right, so you see we got them other bolts in there. Now we just got to see if we can get them nuts up in there. I might have to take that lower control arm bolt back out right here. That way we got room to work. I think that's what we might do real quick. Oh yeah. Boy, Mr. Bab, he put that there anti-seize on there, gonna have me look like Tin Man. Now we can get in here and put the nuts on the back of these here bolts. Oh yeah, he went right on there, boys. Now what I'm gonna do is get a 12 wrench and put on the back of it and hold it in place. Oh, the 12 is gone. So where I did with it? There it is. All right, so now what I did, I got me a 12 wrench, and I'm gonna put it in there and hold that nut on the back side while I tighten up the bolt. Bam. All right then, now I'm gonna put this here 14 back in over here, and this here control arm. Yippers. And then now I can go ahead and put that one back on over yonder. What's we looking like? Oh no! So now we can go ahead and put our bolt right here in the lower control arm where it holds that puppy on. Well, this just ain't a good hair day for me. My hair's all over the place. Then we can tighten her down. All right then, so I got the sway bar on now. Now I can just finish up putting that the other rear disc on for Mr. Bab, and then we'll go to the inside and hook up our emergency brake cables. then, so next thing we gotta do, we gotta put this bracket right here back on these cables, because we got both of them cables running through here now, and then get it bolted back in right here with the 212s, and then we put them cables right back on the brake here, and we'll be good to go. Alright, so we got the brake on there now, and now I'm just gonna let's go ahead and swap these seats out, because you can see the bolster is torn up pretty good and got some tape on it. So I'm gonna put these here seats out of the Integra on it. But that bolster right here got a little bit of wear on it, but it ain't near as bad as what's on that there Civic. And I think these here GSR seats look a little bit better anyhow. So I'm gonna go ahead and swap them out, and you know, also see I still gotta put all the plastics in the back, because I'm gonna try to have this thing fixed up for Mr. Bab when he gets back today. Well, just finishing up doing the rear drum conversion on my GSR Integra. She's gonna be lit. I'm gonna do an EG seat conversion in here too. Heck yeah, it's gonna be nice and go right along with all this other junk that's in here. No natty lights. Yeah, buddy.
All right, so I finally got the car moved out of the shop. I still got to fix the brake line over here and then bleed the brakes, but emergency brake works for now, just to move it from over there to here. But I think it came out pretty good overall. Car's essentially done. All I got to do is, like I said, finish that brake line, and I've actually got to pull the transmission back out and fix second gear, because it's grinding in second. But overall, pretty much swap is complete, and also got to swap the passenger seat. I've already swapped the driver's seat. You can see there I've got the Integra driver's seat in it. I'm gonna put the Integra passenger seat in it. But overall it's done. It's got the console back in, and it runs problem free so far. So with the exhaust welded and everything, it's fairly quiet. I'm pretty happy with how it's come out this far, and I think that Jesse, who's buying it, is also gonna be happy. So
Anyways, I guess that's gonna wrap up this here video. And I don't know what Mr. Bab's got planned next. I know he gotta get some stuff for that transmission and get it fixed up, but I don't know if he's gonna make a video on that or not. Anyways, I appreciate y'all stopping by to check out the video with me in it, and I hope y'all come back and see some more. And peace.